Honestly, one of the worst feelings there is living a life without the feeling of meaning. Even though you and I are all wired to live the most happy days as possible, still at the end of the day, meaning is often not a byproduct of our strategies to pursue happiness. And because of these problems, we might get sad, depressed, feel nihilistic, or indulge in hedonistic activities just to fill this gap that's filled of a lack of meaning. So in this video, we will look on what psychology has to say about meaning so you can understand when increasing meaning is effective, when it's not, and how to increase it. So Viktor Frankl, most people know, wrote Man's Search for Meaning, and therefore making the concept of meaning in psychology more relevant and more relevant. I like factual things. I like when things can be measured. And later in the 20th century, there actually was a questionnaire made to measure the meaning. And I'll put in the description this questionnaire, a short version is a free one, to assess how your meaning is currently lacking or present in your life. And what's really interesting about meaning is that you can divide it in two parts. The presence of meaning, so the meaning you currently feel in your life, for example, by the job that you have, the children that you have, the connection with your family, that you know what your values are, and therefore you feel like your life is not just pleasant, but also has a higher meaning. Religion can also play a part in this, but it doesn't stop there. The second part of meaning is the search for meaning. Some people, more than others, really have the desire to create meaning in their life. Probably if you watch these videos, you probably also have a higher need to search and create meaning in your life. And where I thought this was always a good thing, it's actually not. The studies are pretty clear about this, and they shocked me when I saw them, that most of the studies that look at the presence of meaning, so the more meaning you already have currently in your life, this is positively correlated to well-being, happiness, and all sorts of positive outcomes. But the search for meaning, even though I have this very high need for search myself, is actually correlated with all sorts of negative outcomes, and this is like a blessing and a curse. It truly is. It can inspire you to be the best version of yourself, but if currently your searching need is really high and your present is very low, this can actually make you depressed. And to make this clear, I made this table graph for you to really understand it. So on 1, you have the presence, on 2, you have the search, and then on 3, you have the psychological outcomes. So flourishing, this is of course what you want. The presence is high, the search is low, and someone here, they have a grounded identity, they're very content with their life, and there's low turmoil. You could also say this person might not be as ambitious to achieve higher order things. This person can be very result-oriented still, but maybe not trying to integrate their deepest desires, values in the world. As a rule of thumb, general outcomes are positive. Then the seeking growth. I did the questionnaire and currently I am in this category. So my presence is very high, my search is even higher, and this usually leads to identity growth, purpose-driven action, and exploration. So I still would highly encourage you to take this questionnaire just to see for yourself where you are, and then place yourself to see if you score high, low on either of these variables, because this can explain a lot of your mood, your quest for creating purpose in your life, or maybe the struggle to find this purpose. The third one is crisis. So the presence is low, but the search is high. And I already talked about this. I had this in my teenage years, my adolescence, when I was really looking and striving. I had this need inside myself to achieve things, to live a meaningful life with purpose, with a higher order goal, to influence the world. like many people have. But as an adolescent, you don't have that many skills. You don't have that many autonomy on what you do, what you can do. And therefore, this can create, if this is really low and really high, combined with some other personality factors we won't get into, existential frustration, identity instability, and direction. So if you are currently feeling that this is the case, know that a lot of your bad psychological complaints will actually go away, most likely, once it's not something which is like an illness. It will go away when you increase the presence. And this has the capacity to change. The presence can change. The surge might get lower over the rest of your life. But if you have a high surge, this can actually be a good thing. Like I said, it's a blessing. It can also definitely be a curse, because it asks of you to create this presence in your life or face the consequences. So it's up to you. You can create this very meaningful life. You have this desire. And just to complete the circle, there's also the last one where there is low presence and low surge. These people can still be very good people with good character, fun to hang out with, but they might be different than you. They don't have this surge need. And currently, the presence is also low. So this might actually lead to numbness, stagnation, and nihilism, which I wouldn't wish upon anyone. So now, if you are in this category that your presence is low, but your search for meaning is high, I now give you 4 suggestions for you to increase the presence of purpose in your life so you can reap all the benefits. And the first one is obviously, if you define more clearly the purpose you want, it's also more easy to work towards it. So know what would be an influence, a positive influence you would like to have that is meaningful for you in the world. Try to make this as big as possible. And then this is your higher order goal. And in later videos, we'll get more into depth about this. But if you have this higher order goal, then divide these goals into lower order goals. Lower order goals are not bad in any sense. They're just smaller and practical. When you achieve your lower order goals, you will move more towards your higher order goals. For example, if you want to make the world a better place by increasing the education of psychology, for example, then a lower order goal might actually be buy a book on psychology on a topic you like. Order it, or it could be applying for the study of psychology. And this doesn't directly bring you to achieve this higher order goal, but it is a step in the process of. And for me, the way I created the presence in my life of meaning is also knowing my higher order goal. And then, even though I knew I wasn't there yet, I knew I had the trust that if I would act on these lower order goals, the presence would come and come. So this purpose is important, but it's also very important to know what kinds of... So it's very important to know what is important to you. For example, I made a top 10 of my own values. Mine are significance or purpose, self-expression, communication, learning, independence, fun, etc. I align my life according to these values, and I view the decisions I make, but also the things I do in my daily life through this lens of, is this in line with my own values? Then you will increase the presence of meaning in your life. The meaning you will experience in your life is also attached to the efficacy and the control you feel. And this aligns also with achieving this lower order goal. So the more task-oriented things that move you towards the life with meaning, the more you do it, the more the trust in your own ability, your efficacy will grow and grow, and therefore the meaning will increase. And the last one is your self-worth. If you truly believe you're a good person, you make decisions not only based on what you will benefit from a situation, but also take into account other people's desires, needs, and wishes without sacrificing too much of your own, you will increase your self-worth. And without the belief that you're a good person, can you really create meaning in your life? That could be very difficult, because even if you work towards something that might be of value, of meaning, if in this process you still believe you're not a good person, then it counters the effect of the meaning you can experience. So just to wrap up, for you, take this questionnaire, see where you are. If you watch this video, you might have high meaning search, low presence of meaning. And we saw this can create a temporary crisis of identity, let's say, but it's also a chance for you to move towards a better life. I made this transition from still high in search, very high in search, to meaning is now at a high level as well. And it made me so happy. It made me want to make these videos for you to benefit from as well, because I think psychology is for everybody. As a master degree in organizational psychology, I truly believe that psychology is not just for people who are mentally ill, but also for everybody. It can develop anyone that wants to develop themselves, and this is also what this channel is based on. And if you like this video, make sure to look at the playlist of Positive Psychology, the Science of Human Flourishing. The next video will be about the hope theory. The playlist comes on the screen right now. Thank you very much for watching.